Hello YouTubers, it is I, Hellgear. For 14 articles, I've been talking about these wonderful little squid research discussions that have come up on the Splatoon squid research channel in the news for the Switch. I've used them as ways of starting discussions with all of you Splatoon 2 players out there. And throughout the 14 times, none of you, the viewers, have shared your input on them. And I can only think of two reasons why. Reason one, you have nothing to say, or reason two, you don't really care. But for whatever reason you choose, I hope that the tips that have been loaded in each of these have been useful in your Splat game. But without further ado, there's one last article for me to read. So, as always, jump in on the conversation, share your experiences and discussion debates in the comment section below. And don't worry if you can't read it, I got you. Hello Inklings and Octolings, welcome to the last series of articles that are all about a gear abilities. Not only will you learn helpful gear info, but we'll also give out free in-game gifts with each article by launching the game from the link at the end of each article, in case anyone is new. In this 15th and final article, we'll be highlighting ink resistance and drop roller. One old school ability from the first game and a new one. Now, ink resistance up. Let me just sip my drink really quick. Ink resistance up is going to be what they talk about first. I can see it from here. But originally, ink resistance was exclusive only to footwear. But now you can get it on all of the clothes. Drop roller is exclusive to footwear. So, the funny thing about ink resistance is it's identified as a shoe stepping in ink. And as I said before, if anybody had that friendship bracelet from June that has ink resistance, let me know in the comment section below. That'd be an interesting primary perk for the friendship anklet. Anyway, on with the article. Ink resistance up reduces damage taken and improves movement mobility while walking through enemy ink. Normally, when you walk through an opponent's ink, it reduces your movement speed by 1/4. But you can increase your movement speed up to 80% if you utilize this ability. Mind you, you have to have this as at least some of your gears. You may be able to get ink resistance up as a secondary ability, which again gives you 0.3, but there are different gears, footwear, shirts, and headgear. At least one of each has ink resistance. So if you can't get 3 patches of ink resistance up as secondary perks, which are 0.3, you can at least get ink resistance up for 3 points. Staying in an opponent's ink can also cause damage. It's slow, of course, but by having this ability equipped, you'll enjoy an additional ½ second to get out of the ink. Additionally, the maximum damage you can accumulate decreases by only 20%. By utilizing these perks, finally they actually said perks. I've been calling them perks since the first game, not abilities. Finally, it says perks. Guess they're listening to me. By utilizing these perks, you can decrease the number of times you get splatted. This ability is especially useful when using weapons that need to be charged up to fire, like splatlings or weapons that require a cooldown period like blasters. Funny how they mention useful when using weapons that need to be charged up to fire, but they don't mention any of the chargers. Gatling guns, cooldowns for blasters, but not chargers. I guess this is their way of saying that snipers may not really benefit from using ink resistance up. Drop roller, an ability exclusive to shoes, allows you to roll after performing a super jump by tilting the left stick. Plus, you'll receive the run speed up, swim speed up, and ink resistance up effects for roughly 3 seconds after this ability is activated. Now that's interesting. Now, to those of you who find this very tricky, because at first I really didn't understand the mechanics of this. It's just before you land, you'll want to tilt, and then tilting the left stick in whatever direction. You'll land and then you'll just roll it out. Another way of doing this is by using the rollers, but you use the dodge roll ability and you'll have a similar effect. You won't roll as far as you will with drop roller, but if you do wheeled rollers, you can have a low rent drop roller ability. Since this ability increases mobility, it's recommended for players that like to super jump into a fight to take down opponents. However, be aware that if you attack before landing the super jump, the drop roller will be canceled. Interesting. So, if you're shooting in the air just before you land, it negates the ability. Always a caveat. But that doesn't mean if you charge up your Gatling gun, Splatling gun, or charger before you land that it gets negated. I love this actual picture because when I post this up, I use this exact picture as reference for ink abilities, and it's good to know that we're seeing this picture. Ironically enough, this is actually resource art, I believe from the first game, but they added the new Inkling girl. I can't say sprite because it's a 3D image. I guess they're using her nerves. Alright, so let's recap. Drop roller can give you 3 additional perks effects for a couple of seconds right after you roll. So essentially, if you're shooting in the air before you come down, you're not only negating the main drop roller ability, but you're negating ink resistance, running speed, and swimming speed ups at low rent level. So it's a good note that you let yourself roll without shooting, because again, in addition to the drop roller, you'll get a temporary low rent version of the speed ups and ink resistance for 3 seconds. Which raises the question, if you have drop roller and ink resistance up as 2 of your 12 abilities, does the ink resistance up effect after rolling increase farther than 3 seconds? That's something to test out. Ink resistance, from what I can give you guys as a bit of an advice, is a very useful ability to have when using a roller. And I say this because roller users have to be able to move. And I say rollers and not specifically brushes. One of the things I've learned from the first Splatoon is roller wielders can actually benefit from ink resistance up. especially if you end up getting stuck. You know, it can help you out. Well, it'll give you a chance of not getting splattered if you're deep in enemy ink and taking fire. So keep that in mind. Alright, if you're going to use ink resistance up but not use like charging weapons or blasters, rollers can benefit from this as well. Drop roller is still an interesting thing. I'm not sure really how to hone that. I haven't really fiddled with drop roller enough to actually work out how to best use it, but nevertheless, it's still a fun new ability for Splatoon 2, one that I hope makes it to the next game. Did you enjoy these 15 ability up articles? Each gear ability discussed has great effects, but the success of each in battle changes drastically depending on your weapon of choice, stage, rules, playstyle, and how your teammates play. We hope the tips we've shared will help you find the best ways to utilize and enjoy these gear abilities. As a bonus, we'll be gifting our readers with 20 ink resistance up ability chunks. So yeah, if you can manage to get a drop roller, pair of kicks with 3 ink resistance up, sub perks, that's some pretty decent sounding stats for rolling. Or at least based on this article and these paragraphs that were just read, it sounds like a really good catch. And the funny thing is, those particular shoes that she's wearing, I think those are the Sunset Orca high tops. Those primarily have drop roller on them. Or at least mine do. I don't know if yours do, but mine do. That's all for each of these discussions. If you've enjoyed this discussion as well as the previous 14, show your love, hit the like button. Add any information on these that you might have in the comment section below. I'm looking forward to hearing any comments that you leave, and I'll even respond to you as always. But for now, I take my goose from the oven because I'm done. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye. And good luck to everyone in the future of Splatoon 2 and all of your ink battles, regular or ranked, to come.